All right. Hello, everybody. It is, what is it? It is the 22nd, February 22nd here. So, anyway, just getting off to a cold start over here in Huntington Beach this morning, which is kind of an odd thing. Usually we don't have too much cold weather, but it certainly hit us this morning with that cold wind. But, all right. Anyway, Russ, to address your thing, I just saw your email. There must be something up with our Rainmaker server, so I'm gonna contact DeWitt on that and make sure that he knows there's an issue with that. I thought it was a problem with our server. We had a heavy load this morning. Somebody had installed a WordPress plugin on one of the sites on our server, and it was for a backup, and it went crazy, and it just started eating up all the server resources, so we had to shut it down and reboot the server and all that. So anyway, that was what was going on. If you guys were experiencing slow times with the server or anything this morning trying to get on the site, that was what was going on. So I think we got that dialed in, got that fixed up, and should be in good shape as far as that goes. But I will check that out with the Rainmaker server and see. That looks like a MySQL error. It might just need to be rebooted or something of that nature.
Okay.
So
I wasn't sure if it was because I had a Rainmaker account and then I switched to the unlimited version. Maybe it thinks I'm in there twice. Don't know.
No, it shouldn't. If that was the problem, it would tell you that it had a a database mismatch, or the user was used twice. User was already existing. So
okay.
I don't think that's the case. Another thing too, with the Rainmaker Unlimited Edition, for those of you that are using that, you have to create an agency account. You do that once. You basically do that with your real email address, or an email address that you can actually receive email on. But then when you do your installs for the other computers, those don't have to be real email addresses. You can just use anything. You could put like your name #1 at domainname.com. It doesn't have to be a valid email address. It just has to be associated with that account. So that way when you log in on that computer, basically to turn it on, that's the credentials that you're using just to turn the software on. And then in the agency control panel, you basically use your admin login to control all of the installs. So that's where you go into the control panel. You would add your keywords. You would add your URLs and keyword combinations in there. So that's kind of how it works. It really simplifies things for people that are running multiple versions. Like if you're doing this for clients, or you've got 5 spare idle computers not doing anything, and you want extra juice and horsepower for your own site, that's a great way to go. And again, it makes it much more affordable as well, because when you're doing that, you're basically just paying for the agency version, and you can really install it on as many as you want. Because I know before, we were charging $99 for 4 keywords. And now, for $99 you can get the unlimited. So if any of you want to do that and want to upgrade, let me know. That's what Russ did. He just did that this morning. Got him up on unlimited. So extra power, extra horsepower. So all right, anybody got any questions? So what is it you guys are stuck on? Come on out. Go ahead and unmute yourself. If you don't know how to do that, or maybe you don't have a microphone. A couple of people last week didn't have a microphone. So there's a chat button down below. If you've got a question and you can't get it across, or we're not hearing you, go ahead and put it in the chat. Just click on the little chat button and it'll open a chat window off to the right. And you can communicate that way.
Hey, John, I have a question.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, so last time I was on the call, we did the SEMrush review, and we were talking about follow and do follow and don't follow, do not follow links. For your store, your money pages and things like that, they should be follow links, correct?
Well, not Not necessarily. There's some sites out there that don't offer follow links. And if basically the way you should look at it is a no follow link, Google follows it anyway. So it doesn't really mean anything. You know, in SEO, in the SEO world, everybody said they wanted the do follow links because they wanted the link juice. Well, you get the link juice anyway. And what happens if you only focus on do follow links and you don't have any no follow links, then you get unnatural. So if you're trying to do a linking campaign, really don't worry about if it's follow or no follow. Just get the links. If the link is on a site that makes sense, I would take a no follow link off a site that makes sense over a do follow link on a site that doesn't make sense, for sure, any day.
So could you give us a couple examples of ones that should be followed and ones that are no follow?
Well, really, there's no real example of should follow or not follow. Well, actually, let me give you an example of why you would use a no follow link.
Or where you can control which are followed and which are not. Like where would you be able to control that?
Well, the only place you can actually control that is on your own site. Like for instance, if you wanted Google to spider and index and follow your links on your site, there might be pages in there where you don't want them to follow. Like it might be a page that you're putting up just with your personal information on it, that it's not linked to the site, it's not linked in the navigation, you don't really want anybody to go there, and you just want it for your own private use. Or maybe you're putting it up for members and you don't have member access protection, you just don't link the link. So you might just not want follows to go onto that. Another reason that people put no follows naturally is they put them on their privacy pages. They put them on some of basically the functioning pages of the website, pages that have to be there but they really aren't important. So you can do no follow, and you can also do no index. There's a robots txt file, and it's just a text file you drop in your main public web directory, and then you reference that in the code of your site like an external link. And in that robots txt file, that's giving Google or any other search engine, it gives their bot instructions on what to do, how to effectively navigate the site. Like it might have a link in there to your sitemap. Might have a line of code in there that says, no follow on these certain pages. It might have a thing in there about no index. Don't index our privacy policy. There's no reason really for Google to be indexing everyone's privacy policies. There's a lot of different, functionality pages that your site might have that you don't want to gum up the index with. So, oh, excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you. I could feel that one coming on. I'm like, uh-oh.
So how about your WordPress or your blog pages?
WordPress and blog pages, there's different plugins that you can use that can control the follow and no follow. But again, there's not really any reason for you to do no follow, on your own site. Another reason, that you might want to do it is if you've got a page that you don't want to send people off of. You don't want to have the search engines leave your site. But again, I'm telling you right now, they do anyway. If Google sees a link, they're following it. So I don't really know the validity completely of the whole no follow tag. It's clearly not used, or not, it's clearly ignored.
Okay.
Let's just say that. So,
hey, Russ, if you need examples, Ahrefs will show you all the follow and no follows on certain pages of different websites. That's back in the old days, we all knew that Google was not following along. they were following it all and indexing it all, and Ahrefs pretty much told us which ones they were and weren't. We were able to fix problems with it.
Okay.
Yeah. So another thing too, you can look at the balance between follow and no follow links that are coming into your site. You can see that a lot of the programs give you access to that. I know in SEMrush it does. There's a little chart. There's like a pie graph of how many links are coming in that are indexed or follow versus no follow rather. So what I typically look for is, you know, a ratio of at least 10%. You know, I see a lot of people that have, you know, 99 or even 100% follow links, and there's 0 no follow links. And that's, you know, that's just not natural, especially if you've got a lot of links. You know, if there's only 1 or 2 links coming in, it's not that big a deal. But if you've got, you know, 10,000 links coming into your site and it's 100% follow links, that's not right. That's not natural. And that's a lot of times what SEO guys will do is they'll say, I don't want any no follow links. And that's the same methodology and the same thinking as I only want anchor text links that are my exact match keyword. And if you're doing all of that, you're creating all of that, you're controlling all of that, at the end of the day, it looks very unnatural, and then that's where Google will come through and swat you. You know, they came up with that penguin penalty, and it was based exactly on that. It was based on unnatural linking. So with everything, I just say, you know, everything you do should look like natural. You know, and if you want to see what natural looks like, pull up some big authority site and run it through SEMrush and look at the variation. You know, look at the balance of exact match anchor text versus the balance of brand anchor text. You know, you'll see that any major brand has a lot of brand linking. They've got a natural flow of follow and no follow. So, you know, it's like anything else in life. If you want to be successful, you look at the people that have been successful before you and you try and emulate them. Walk in their footsteps, do what they're doing, and you should have that same success. You know, a lot of times in the SEO world, they throw all that logic out the window and they just want the shortcut. And, you know, it might work for a few minutes, but then ultimately it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you big time in the long run. So that's why, you know, most people that get into SEO, it's very short-lived. You know, they get in, they get hit, they get out, they give up. You know, and because they were trying to cheat, they were doing stuff that was just flat out stupid, and they got swatted for it, and they couldn't take it. So they throw in the towel and they give up and move on. So again, you know, it all comes back to that. I've said this for years. I have learned more about SEO from observation than anything. You know, observing what's happening, observing, you know, if a site is at the top, why is it at the top? You know, what's causing that? Look at the brands, look at the ones that have been around forever. You know, look at, you know, throw Amazon in there, throw YouTube in there, and see what their anchor text looks like, see what their linking looks like, you know, see what their no follow ratios look like. And when you do that, you'll see it's a very big, broad mix. And, and that just doesn't go along with most people's idea of SEO. You know, they want to go do everything perfect and eliminate all the stuff that, you know, that happened naturally. And at the end of the day, they show up on the radar and they get shot at. It's my whole cloud cover methodology. If you're doing stuff that's undetectable, you can do a lot of it and get away with it.
Speaking of cloud cover, you're building link campaigns, tier 1, tier 2 links. How would you go about doing that, and or finding the links that are not your own links to your money site, but other links that are outside that are pointing to you? Is there a way or a tool that would tell you which ones are pointing to you?
Yeah, you can. Ahrefs is a good tool to tell you what links are pointing to you. Also, you can get some of that information out of SEMrush as well now. You know, they'll give you links that are pointing to you and the anchor text that goes along with them. So you could, you know, if you wanted to do like a backlink boosting campaign, you could take all those sites, all those links that are linking to you, and you could basically backlink boost them. You know, and that's the kind of stuff where you can get a little crazier. You know, you can use programs like let's see, what is it? I've got one of them up here. You can use like SENUKE for that. You can use GSA. I wouldn't throw those type of links ever at your money site. But sites that are out around the outside, those are the ones where you can do that. You can do like social media linking. The best links though, by far, and this is like bar none, the best links you're ever going to find is with an outreach program. And I know I've talked about this before, but this will not only help you from a linking standpoint, an SEO standpoint, this is going to help you from an actual true credibility standpoint. And believe me, credibility on the internet goes a long, long way. Not only with SEO, but with trust, rapport, getting new clients, getting people's attention, and building your tribe. So the best way to go about that is to do searches. You know, you can do, they're called operator strings, and you can do these in any search engine. You can go to the search engine and you can say contributor and then the plus sign and then put your keyword into there. And basically what that'll do, it'll give you a list of sites that are related to your keyword that are looking for contributors. And you can write really, really good content for them. And they're looking for that. They're looking for people with content that they can post. You know, some people call it guest blogging, guest posting, things like that. This was really popular with like Huffington Post. You know, it was a big credibility authority thing to become an author in Huffington Post. You know, when you got that stature, you could put your content in there. You know, you could be a writer for Huffington Post. Those links were absolutely awesome. You know, those were high credibility, high authority links coming out of Huffington Post. A lot of guys did that and, you know, kind of turned that into a career. They said, hey, if you want a link from Huffington Post, I'll write it for you. And, you know, they were pretty good authors. They were good writers. And they would write about you, almost like, you know, interview style, news style. And then they would naturally link over to you for more information about whatever the topic was. So that's what you want to try and do. You want to find sites that are in your niche that are already ranking for your keywords and have people on it. It's got your audience on those sites. Those people have done a lot of work. They've done a lot of legwork to get your audience. You know, in most cases, they're not competing with you. Anybody that's looking for contributors or looking for ads, you know, that's another one. You can look for advertise with us, you know, or put your ad here and then the keyword, and you'll find sites that will allow advertising. And again, those people, if they're ranking for your keywords already in that search operator, that's sites in your industry. Those sites have your tribe on them. So, and this is one that I talked about from, we talked about this, I know, in the Active Apprentice program call, and it had a lot to do with retargeting. And we were talking about using adroll.com for setting up your retargeting campaigns. Really, really cool feature with that is once your retargeting starts going out, AdRoll retargets internet-wide. They'll put your ads all across the internet on all the display networks. What that does for you in their analytics is that will tell you the people that are going to your site what other sites out on the internet they're visiting. So if, like, you know, if half of the people that are on your site are showing up on another site, that gives you an idea that, hey, there might be a lot of people that would be interested in your stuff that don't know about you, but they're over on that site for some reason. So that might be a really good place to contact that company. And obviously they're running ads, so they're in the business of ad placement. So why wouldn't they put an article on their site about you as an ad? You just pay them for it. You know, you spend money on link building anyway. So why wouldn't you just pay them? You know, they probably put your article on their site for, you know, a fairly small fee. And that would be a phenomenal link. One link like that is probably worth, you know, 100 mediocre links. So, you know, if you look at the cost of spending on what it would cost you to create that link, and it's not just a link, you know, you're not just doing it for SEO purposes. You're actually taking your content, your marketing message, and you're putting in the path of your customers. You know, for a business, that's just a really smart thing to do. That's advertising. You know, it's worth spending money on advertising, and the bonus is you get that high quality link, so you get the SEO value as well.
And how would you find those sites again?
So with those, you could run things like advertise here. You know, there's a bunch of different search strings for that. I think I've posted them. I think in the Dominators section, in the Internet Dominators section, all in the SEO training, there should be a link called search operators. And I've put a big link of them. You can also Google it too, common search operators, and it'll give you those strings. And it's basically, it's the target word, like some of them people will look for guest authors. I'm coming up with a blank, but there's hundreds of them. You know, advertise here is one, you know, that'll find people that are accepting ads. But there's a whole bunch of them. If you just Google it, Google search operator, and then advertise here, you'll probably get a whole string of them. So that's what you want to do. They're called search operators, and it's just advanced search strings. So it's putting one word and then the plus sign and then your keyword inside quotes. And what that'll do, that will find you any site that has that content of, you know, advertise here and is related to your keyword. So it's very, very specific when you run a search like that. So it's the operator you're looking for, which is, you know, advertise here or guest author, or, you know, anything like that. Contributors, a lot of times it's referred to as contributors when you're posting articles. So those strings in combination with the plus sign and then your keyword in quotes will get you exactly what you're looking for. And then, you know, at that point, it's just a matter of reaching out to those website owners and offering them content. Say, hey, I've got great content. If you know, if there's an opportunity for me to provide you great content, all I'm looking for is just a link back to me as the provider of the content. And they're very happy to do that. You know, if they're looking for contributors, their job is to get content out to their audience. So the more they don't have to do, the more their job is easier. So by you providing them exactly what they're looking for, which is great content on their topic or on the subject matter that you're an expert in, that just makes their job a no-brainer. They love that. So they'll give you a link for that all day long. You know, it's really not even a question. And those really are, it's by far, it's the best strategy for link building. It's totally natural. It's like, you know, back to my original thing that I've been saying for years, what's good for a business owner is good for SEO, always. And that's a good thing for a business owner to do. You know, look for places where his community is building and provide value there. provide value, position himself as an authority, and invite them to come over to his website for more. That is a natural thing for a business owner to do. It's a good thing. And that is also the best thing for SEO. And, I can't believe it's taken people so long to really figure that out. All right. Anything? Who's up next?
Hey, John, can you hear me? This is Dan.
Yeah, Dan, go ahead.
Excuse me. So I am launching an online course very soon, and wanted to get your thoughts if you either are familiar with some of the platforms that are available, like ClickFunnels or Teachable or Kajabi, or if you have any recommendations for any other ones.
Okay. Yeah, for membership sites, what are you going to have in the membership site? Kind of describe what is the content that's going to be inside there.
Sure, and I shared this with you before, but it's content that will show business owners how to pay their kids tax-free income and use that money to pay for college or things like that.
Okay, cool. And is it going to be like updated regularly, or is it pretty much you build it once, drop it in there, and let her rip?
It will have at least one update. First one is kind of based mostly for California business owners, but the second version will have an updated with all 50 states laws and things like that.
Okay. Do you need? Here's really kind of the basis for that question. Do you need the content dripped out in an automated fashion? Like, do they get module 1 this week and they get module 2 next week, or is it just all available once they pop in there?
No, I haven't really thought about it, and so I don't know if one is better than the other.
Okay. It kind of depends. If you've got a program that's meant to span over like 6 months, and normally people would drop out after 2 or 3 months, then you're better off to drip it out, because that way they're waiting each month and they're excited to get the next month's content.
Okay.
Whereas, you might get people that they just want to get in, grab all the information, take it and leave, and then not continue on with the membership. So that's kind of something to entertain. Like with mine, I don't really care. I let people in, I let them get access to all the content right out of the gate, because where I provide the value is here in these ongoing calls. People get, for under $30 a month, they get access to me on an ongoing basis every week. So I'm providing incredible value with that. So, and I just tell them, I say, if that's not of value to you, then the membership is worthless. Why did you even sign up to begin with? So the value of the ongoing support in this type of an environment is worth way more than the price of the original course or content, in that case. Because, most people will buy courses and content, and then they buy it and then they're on their own and they don't get anything done, and there's nobody to ask. They're all alone, and they very easily just throw out the the opportunity and throw in the towel. And at that point, they've really lost the value in the entire thing. And that's where you get a lot of chargebacks. You get a lot of people that want refunds when that's the case, because they buy it, they get home, they realize they have no idea how to do this, and they're confused and they're overwhelmed, and they just want their money back. And so that will kind of that also eliminates the refund, when you drip stuff out, because especially when you're dripping out good stuff, it's going to keep their attention, and they're going to be excited to get the next module. So with that said, if you want a system like that, you've got to look at what platforms allow you to do that, because they don't all allow that, or they don't all make that easy. I'm pretty sure with ClickFunnels, they have automated that process into the ClickFunnels. And I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure you've got to be on the higher end ClickFunnels for that. So at that rate, you're paying $300 a month for your platform. So it's going to cost you. Now, Kajabi is the same thing. I'm pretty sure Kajabi, I haven't used Kajabi, but I know several people that have, and it's, all of these are, they're great platforms. They offer a lot of features, but there's a cost to them. There's a learning curve to them, all that kind of stuff. So the one that I use, and I've used this one since I started doing membership sites back in 2008, it's called aMember. And really what aMember is it's a platform that kind of runs around your content. It's not a content builder. It's not a website builder. Like, ClickFunnels is a website builder. Kajabi is more of a website builder. It's basically you're building it within their template, within the confines of their template. But what aMember is it's more of a system, and it runs on your own website, so you're not paying monthly for it. It provides access to folders and files on your server based on what people have paid for. And it's really cool. It's a very powerful program. It's got its own affiliate program built into it. You buy it once, they actually install it for you for free on your server, and then you own it. There's no monthly fees. So to me, that's a really nice feature, to know that I own it, I control it, and you never know. I mean, this isn't very likely, but what happens next month if Russell Brunson decides, yeah, I'm kind of done with this whole ClickFunnels thing, and he folds it up? What happens to you? You've got no control over that. And like I said, that's not very likely, but it is a possibility. What happens if he dies in a plane crash and the rest of the team decides, yeah, we're not doing this anymore, and it's gone? That's kind of the qualm I have about letting someone else control what you're doing. I like to run stuff on my own server, so I own it. I control it, not just from a standpoint of I don't have to pay extra every month for it, but the fact that I control it, nobody's going to take it away from me. I think that kind of goes back to my core fabric of being an entrepreneur. Is freedom to me is like, that's the ultimate goal. So I don't ever want to be held hostage by somebody. Another thing is coming back to the hostage situation. And I just had this very recently with a company called Miva doing e-commerce. I started using Miva probably 10 years ago. Actually, more than that, probably close to 20 years ago. They were one of the first commerce platforms out. And they were not open source. You had to buy the licenses and all that, but you could run them on your own server. And then at some point, about 5 years ago, or maybe more than that, I don't remember exactly when, they got greedy and they decided they're not going to allow people to host their own Miva sites. So you had to actually get your hosting from them. And then they started jacking the prices up. And, it's like you got a gun to your head. You've got all this, you've got your whole life put into this. And I know Russ went through this too. He's finally off of Miva. But, they control it. You really have no control. You're at their mercy. And they change their policies. They changed their policies from that. And a lot of people had built businesses in web hosting around hosting the commerce platform for Miva. I mean, these are the guys, I was one of them. We were the ones that built that whole backbone for Miva. We're the ones that put them on the map. I sold probably 300 Miva stores. I had like 300 Miva stores running on my servers at one point in time. And then, they pulled the rug right out from under us. And, and then they changed it to they want to look at how much your business makes, and they want to charge you based on how much you're making. And I'm just like, that's just not cool at all. And a lot of these big commerce platforms, they're doing that. You know, they're going to that model. And when you don't have that control, you really are held hostage. You know, if you don't have the ability to switch platforms and get off of them very easily, you know, you're kind of hosed. So, you know, that brings up the question of what would happen if you were on ClickFunnels and Russell Brunson decided tomorrow, hey, you know, $300 a month isn't enough. I want $1,000 a month. You know, and again, not to say that he would ever do that, but it's a possibility. So that's the whole reason why I prefer the aMember over that. Now, that said, you know, the next objection to that would be, well, I don't really know how to build websites. You can do a WordPress site and have aMember control the access to it, to the whole site or to certain sections or however you want to do it. Let's say you wanted, you know, 5 different membership sites all running under the aMember. You can do that. You just put 5 different folders on your site and you run a WordPress install in each folder, and then you have aMember give access to those different sections of the site based on what people are buying or what they've bought. And then if they stop paying, you know, let's say their credit card goes out and it doesn't run, then their access is automatically revoked. You don't have to do anything. It's all automated. It's really cool. And then there's also inside aMember, there's a built-in auto response system where you can go in and you can send emails out to the list. And you can go in there and you can say, I want to send an email out to everyone that has fallen out, you know, and you can try and get them back in.
Okay.
You know, you can send a message out to everyone that's bought a particular product and say, hey, you know, we've got a special based on what you've got, you know, here's the next thing you're going to want. So it's pretty cool. It's an awesome program.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking at it right now. So,
and you know, it's fairly easy to use, and again, that might be for me. I've been using it for so long, but anybody that I get, you know, I prefer that they use that one, because then when they have questions on it, I know it inside out too. And let's see what else. The other, you know, one last thing I'll just throw out that's really cool about that company. I'm not sure how much they're charging for it now. I think it was like $187 last time I looked. But with that price, they actually install it for you. So they'll install it on your server, get it up and running, and you know, they'll even set up your first you know, initial products in there. If you know what you want, they'll set the whole thing up for you, ready to go. It's pretty awesome.
okay. Interesting.
So,
All right. Thank you.
sure, no problem. Rustin, go ahead.
All right. Now that Rankbrain has kind of settled the clouds on animal algorithm changes, it makes me wonder, now that they're able to pretty much tell it after it learns everything it wants to learn, and they're able to tell it what they want people to see and what fits their global idea of how things are supposed to be. Is it possibility that, you know, they could probably just target companies regardless of how good their SEO is and their marketing is? If they don't agree with that company, they can make it very difficult for them.
Not really. Like, that's not really what Rankbrain is for. Rankbrain really is to it's to keep all the animals in the cage in control. You know, it's basically it's like you said, the dust is kind of settled with all the animal algorithms. those I believe are just going to be kind of a thing of the past, because ultimately all Google really wants is they want to provide a good user experience. And that's what Rankbrain is trying to determine, is what is a good user experience. So they're watching, they're collecting the data, and then their engineers are analyzing the data and deciding, okay, what does a good user experience look like? And then, what's going to trigger them to even test your site to see if it has a good user experience. So again, the natural SEO stuff in the past, that's the stuff that triggers them to give it a chance. So you get incoming links. They look at that. They say, oh, this site is popular, but do we trust it? No, we don't trust anything. And Rankbrain is what's going to allow that trust. So they'll give you a shot. They'll put you at the top, give you a shot, but Rankbrain goes to work immediately to see, did they make the right choice by putting you there? So it really, it kind of just levels the playing field for SEO tricks. The SEO tricks now really only give you a shot at the title. It puts you in the ring, but it does not guarantee you're going to stay there. So that's kind of where it's gone. And I think it's great. I mean, I love the idea that junk sites and garbage sites are getting hit, getting penalized. And I even appreciate it from the fact that it's affecting my customers, because some of my customers, I have been telling for years, if not decades, that they need to provide a good site. And they just want to put up junk and they don't want to change it. And I tell them, you need to change it for the sake of your business, not for the sake of the SEO. I'm not making these recommendations just for the SEO. I'm making them for the sake of your business. Like, let's put up a website that represents you and tie that to a good experience, right? I mean, how about that? Is that a good idea for business? I think it is. And I see so many people that just put these websites up that are just crap. And they expect me to go in and get them to the top and get them to stay there. And Rankbrain is just going to prevent that. It's one thing to bring people to a site. It's another thing to keep them. It's the same thing with customers. If your customer service sucks, it doesn't matter how good your salespeople are. They can sell the product, they can sell people in, but can you keep them? If you can't keep them, then what good was it? You get the one-shot sale, but it's no good. You don't get the repeat business. You don't get the long-term client value. So, your website should represent you and your business. If you've got stellar customer service and you provide a great user experience and everything for your customers, once they get to your real world situation, why should your website not replicate that? Why should it not represent that? Because right now, if you've got a garbage website up on the front end, and that's what your new prospects are experiencing, what do they expect after they buy? What do they expect after they become a customer? They expect that same crap experience. And if they're not in alignment with that, which most people are not, they're not going to be very motivated to become your customer to begin with. So that's really it. And from a perspective of a good thing, I think Google has done a phenomenal thing when they did that.
Yeah, I think the other thing is I'm wondering, going back and looking at one of our clients, that we built up we did the first phase of building up their SEO, and then we started in the pay-per-click campaigns. And then when we stopped the pay-per-click campaigns, I'm wondering if the user experience in the website that Rankbrain felt that killed the traffic when we killed the pay-per-click. Well, we didn't really mean to. We just kind of stopped it for a second because we went through the budget way too early in the month.
Gotcha.
And we felt that Google was being greedy when they shut us shut us off in traffic. And but when we turned it back on, the pay-per-clicks back on, the traffic came back. It took some time. But I'm wondering if maybe there was something on the site that Google said, well, you're not going to do anything until you pay for it, unless you start fixing these problems.
No. I have a completely different theory on why that happened. And the Google search and Google pay-per-click, they're not tied together. It's not like they're not holding hands. And it's like if you had two offices inside a company, and the pay-per-click guy, he realizes, hey, you're not buying ads anymore. He doesn't walk next door into the next office and say, hey, SEO company, hey, Google search, these guys need to get kicked in the butt because they stopped buying ads. That's not going on. That's absolutely not happening. I've confirmed that too from talking to people. They have no connection. They're not even in the same buildings. They're completely. It's almost like two different companies. But here's what I think is happening. Let's say you've got a pay-per-click program, and you've got your SEO program, and your SEO program is not targeting the right audience. So the customers coming in through SEO are giving you a mediocre experience, mediocre user experience. You're running your pay-per-click campaign to the side of that. You're paying for that, so it's really important that you target the right customers. So with the pay-per-click campaign, you're bringing high-quality prospects to that site that are giving you a really good user experience. So that is offsetting the mediocre experience you're getting from the rest of your traffic. So what happens when the pay-per-click goes away? Now 100% of your audience is giving you a mediocre user experience. That will affect your SEO ranking. And I think that's probably what you experienced. That makes a lot more sense to me than them penalizing you because you stopped running your ads. I think because your ads were probably so well targeted, whereas the rest of the traffic wasn't. And I'll give you an example, and this is probably very specific directly to you, because you're talking about an e-commerce site, if it's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
And they literally rank for thousands, tens of thousands of keywords. And a lot of the keywords that they rank for don't necessarily send people to the right page, or it's not necessarily relevant. Because when you run the report, like I ran that report for Russ on SEMrush, and you saw the way that I rank that and sort the data, you can see what pages are ranking for what keywords, and it doesn't always make sense. So a lot of times you'll be ranking for particular keywords for particular pages that aren't really necessarily 100% great match. And I know that a lot of that is happening. Like, some of the keywords that your site is ranking, like in the number 1 and number 2 spot, there's thousands of them, and they're sending traffic to particular deep pages that aren't a perfect match. So when they hit that, they probably bounce. Now, when you're running your ads, you have 100% control. You can run the exact right traffic to the exact right landing pages, and you've got 100% possibility of a good match. Whereas SEO, you're really up to Google of who they're, what pages they're going to rank for what keywords, and they're not always the best at it. Again, that's why Rankbrain is at work trying to figure out, should that page be ranked for that? So it's ultimately, eventually, Rankbrain will get smart enough to figure it out across the whole internet. I don't know how many years that's going to take, but ultimately, hopefully, it will do that, because when they rank you for the wrong keywords for the wrong pages, it really doesn't help them, and it really doesn't help you, and it definitely doesn't help the user on the other end. Because when they click a link thinking it's what they want, and they get to a site that doesn't match, that doesn't do anybody any good. I would rather rank for a handful of keywords that were the right keywords that were going to bring me the right traffic. And I would take a handful of those over a million of the wrong keywords ranking number one all day long.
Right.
So it's just, unfortunately, you know, in SEO, sometimes we do such a good job. We get the site to rank for all kinds of keywords, and Google's deciding what content on your page is most relevant to that. You know, like you might, you know, and let's just use an example of cougar. You know, you might be doing something for you know, old auto parts for a cougar car that and you're ranking for all these cougar terms. But as we know, cougar has a lot of meanings. So you might be ranking for cougar jewelry, you know, cougar blankets, and they get on there and they see auto parts. Well, obviously, that's not a good match, but it's cougar, right? So, and there's plenty of other things that cougar means as well. So
That's not cool.
but I mean, it's just an example. There's a lot of different words in the English language that have many meanings because they're tied to different brands. You know, like cougar happens to be tied to a brand of car. You know, it's also tied to an animal that people love and winds up on a lot of different things. You know, cougar pictures, cougar artwork, cougar apparel, you know, cougar blankets. You know, so there's that interpretation that Google has to make of what does your cougar mean, you know, and what does your content based around cougar mean, and what should we rank it for? Of all the, you know, hundreds of millions of different keyword combinations out there, what should we rank it for? You know, who is looking for what you have? And again, that's what Rankbrain is for. It's to figure that out. You know, if they've got a bunch of people that are typing in cougar blanket and they're sending them to an auto parts page and they have 100% bounce rate, Google's Rankbrain is automatically going to figure out, hey, these people that are looking for the blanket, this is not the place we should be sending them. And until that happens, we're going to have this in place. And I don't think it's going to happen overnight. You're talking about a massive amount of data to be figured out. And as good as Google's Rankbrain is, it's going to take quite some time for it to sift through every piece of content in the world and every keyword combination in the world. It's going to take it some time to get that figured out. So, all right. Anything else? Anybody else got anything you want to address this week before we move on out? Got traffic and conversion coming up next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. If any of you guys are going to be down for that, I'll only be there for a couple of days this time. I'm going to come in probably Monday afternoon and Tuesday, and then I'll be back home Wednesday. So I'll give you a little update there for next week, what goes on down there in San Diego.
Hey, John.
Yeah, go ahead.
Have you used a backlink indexer or authority site links?
I have used Backlinks Indexer before. I'm not sure if I've used authority site links or not. It sounds awfully familiar. I've tried a whole bunch of those things in the past. But yeah, Backlinks Indexer, there's about 4 or 5 products just like that. They give you very poor content, or very poor link sources rather. But
so who would you recommend if you're trying to build a linking campaign? What?
Well, if you're actually gonna try, you're talking obviously about a second and third tier type program, right?
Right.
The best way you're going to do that is to really develop your own link list. And you know, like that's what you would want to do is develop that. And then Scrapebox is a great tool for that. You might look into Scrapebox. Scrapebox is a great tool to find open link sources. If you can find open link sources in your particular niche, that would be an awesome way to do it. You can get that link list, have Scrapebox build that link list, and then you can import that into something like GSA or SENUKE. You know, GSA and SENUKE have been looked at as very black hat type of products, and they're not very good at using them out of the box. But if you use them smart, just like anything else, it's just a tool. You can use it for good or you can use it for evil. But let's say perfect combination is you use Ahrefs or SEMrush and you get a list of links that are coming to your site. Then you use Scrapebox to get a bunch of open source links that you can send to those links. And then you use GSA or SENUKE or one of those to actually go and create those links for you. That would be ideal. So the programs like Backlinks Indexer, you can just put in any URLs and they'll just go find a ton of generic garbage links and throw them at it. And you know, again, if that's all you need, that might work just fine. But for me, I would prefer to really do it the right way. It's a little more work, but you'll get a lot more benefit out of it.
So you wouldn't throw your money site in the backlink indexer?
No, not at all.
No.
Not a chance. I don't think that would be a good idea in any shape of the words. Yeah, Backlinks Indexer, that is only for external sites. That's for like tier 2, tier 3, and beyond. You know, I wouldn't even send those. Like if you had a private blog network, I wouldn't be sending those at your private blog network either. Because your private blog network should be treated as money sites.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, think about it. If you're building authority sites with the purpose of linking, why would you want to treat them as anything other than a money site? So that's part of the reason why the whole blog network thing has not worked for most people, because you know they put it up and they throw a bunch of junk at it and they expect it to stick and rank and give them powerful links, and it doesn't work that way. You know, powerful links come from powerful sites, not the garbage dump. So if you're taking your blog network and you're associating it with a garbage dump, don't expect it to last long and don't expect to get much juice out of it. So treat those money sites with respect, and treat your blog network as money sites, and you know, if you do that, you'll be money ahead for sure. All right, anything else before we wrap up? All right, guys. Hey, I appreciate you all showing up and putting your content in, your feedback and questions. It's great. Keep them coming. We'll talk to you next week. Have a great week, everybody.